Americans.
Irish. Yes. Irish. Great. I'm Irish too.
Okay, I see Americans.
How many Hispanics do you see? How many African Americans?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't look to find out what race everybody was here. I'm not a racist, so I didn't look. I'm not a racist, so I didn't look. So maybe you need to question yourself. So maybe you need to question yourself and have a little bit more manners. Okay, yes, wow. Where are you from? You're from here. Then you should understand more and appreciate our history. Okay, you want our history erased? Yeah, right. So you want our history wiped out.
Let him leave, Chuck.
You want a genocide.
Let him leave, Chuck.
It has everything to do with what I'm talking about. It's part of our history and our heritage and our culture.
Let him leave, Chuck.
And if you think different, you are sorely miseducated. You've been bought to by the program of the leftist.
Amen.
No.
He's already voting for Hillary.
You see? We don't look at people and figure out who they are and try to put them in some kind of category. You're all Americans, you're all Louisianans, you're all children of God. I don't care what your background is. People that can't understand that are the problems and the bigots themselves.
You are right!
Amen.
So, in speaking of, you'll hear critics of the flag. And I use that term loosely, critics of the flag. What that means is they have formed an opinion about it that everybody else is required to believe. Okay? That everybody else say, well, it means this. Says who? Well, let's decide who it means. Who owned this flag originally? The Confederate soldiers did. And it was their flag. They fought for it. They created it. I think they get to decide what it means. Well, they are now gone. Who did they hand that off to?
Us.
The sons of Confederate veterans. We own this flag.
Yes, indeed.
We get to decide what it means. Other people can have their opinions, but it doesn't mean we have to accept them. If we could have a patent and to say who could and who could not wave this flag, we would do it in a heartbeat. And we would not allow people with nefarious opinions to do it.
Yeah.
But we can't do that. It's considered public domain. But as far as what it means, the people with the moral authority to say that are the people it belongs to. And it belongs to the men who fought for it and the people they handed it off to. It is a flag that represents bravery and honor and commitment to duty. Anybody that says anything else, that's just their opinion. They can have it, and opinions can be wrong. You know, I taught civics for 25 years, so it's kind of funny to have somebody step up here out of the blue and tell me, yeah, he knows history better than I do, and I have a master's degree from LSU in it. Okay. So, you know, that is what it means. Other people, I used to tell my students that say, well, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I said, sure. But every once in a while you hear the phrase, well, all opinions are equal. And I would say, no, they're not. My opinion on how to do brain surgery is not equal to a neurosurgeon. If you're going to have an opinion, it needs to be backed up by facts.
Know what you're talking about.
Okay? Our definition of what this heritage is backed up by facts. Other people's opinion are backed up by political agendas. People who detract on this flag don't do it because of what happened in the 1860s. It's not what happened in the 1960s. It's because of what the progressive leftists want to do to this country by 2060.
Amen.
If you demonize a symbol, you demonize the people and cut them out of the conversation. That's what it's all about. And you hear these people, well, most people don't like the flag and this and that and the other. Well, let me set you straight on that. Pew Research, working with Princeton University, not exactly conservative bastions, did an exhaustive study on people's reaction to seeing the Confederate flag. This is nationwide, not just the South. 9% said positive. Well, we really like that. 30% negative. We really don't like that. 58% said, well, we don't really care.
All right. Okay.
Whatever. Doesn't bother us. And 2% said they didn't know. I've never figured that one out. Especially on call-in polls. People will call in and say, I don't know. Why did you call in? Okay. But put that in perspective. You add up the positives, I don't know, and I don't really care. That means 70% of Americans do not have a negative reaction to the Confederate flag. 70% are not going around saying we don't like it, take it down. 70%. That's a landslide in any election. 70% will even get you graduated from high school. What is it they say in college now? C's get degrees.
I can attest to that.
So we own this, and we will say what it means. By the way, be honest with you. Was I? What's the word? Was I reasonable with that man?
Yes, very reasonable.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to come across as calling names or being mean. I hope I showed good manners.
You did.
Okay. We should always do that. We should be firm. Being firm doesn't mean weak. Having good manners does not mean being weak. So we own this flag. Let's see if I can. Thomas, come over here and get somebody to hold your flag. I got another flag I want you to hold. Hold this up for people to see. Okay, this is a picture of an original battle flag captured on a battlefield by an invader of our homeland. You'll see a good chunk of the bottom of this flag is gone. Now, you might assume it's gone because of it being shot at or burned or whatever. That's not the reason. That is the part that rotted away because it was soaked in blood.
Oh, man.
Of the flag bearer, the man who carried it. His blood had soaked into it as he went down the battlefield, and that's why that part of it has rotted away. Okay, thank you. See, I had visual aids and everything. It rotted away. His blood. So you see, these flags aren't just symbolically ours. They are physically ours. Somewhere, there's a Confederate descendant, and I hope they're an SEV or a UDC member, whose great-great-grandfather, that's his blood on that flag.
Amen.
That same DNA that's on that flag is in our veins.
Yeah.
So it's not just, oh, it's a symbolic, we like it, it stands for this. We are physically hooked to this legacy. You go to battlefields, matter cannot be destroyed. It changes form, but it cannot be destroyed. That means any battlefield that any of your ancestors bled on, your DNA is still in that ground somewhere.
Yeah.
All across the South, the ground is full of the DNA that runs through our very veins right now. How can we call ourselves men and women and not stand up for that?
Okay.
You have to do it. It's the right thing to do. I'll read you another quote. The flags of the Confederate States of America were very important and a matter of great pride to those citizens living in the Confederacy. They are also a matter of great pride for their descendants as a part of their heritage and their history. Sir Winston Churchill.
Wow.
If any of these other people who want to walk up and be sidewalk historians want to argue with Winston Churchill, be my guest. He was he was a politician and a great prime minister, but he was some kind of a historian as well. Wrote a lot of books that are still highly regarded. He knew of what he spoke. His mother was an American. He knew the history. He wasn't just popping off on something he saw on MSNBC or a coloring book. He knew what he was talking about. We generally know what we're talking about, but we're always learning. But we do know one truth, that it is right for us to take a day to raise high the banners of our ancestors who fought and died for us, that we might have a country built upon the principles of the American Revolution, that we might have a country of individual freedoms and limited government. Okay? We won't get political and say, do we have it now or do we not? That's for everyone to decide and for everyone to work toward for themselves. We are here today to be reminded of what came before us and what they did for us. So never, ever strike the flag. Here's my favorite quote, because I said it. Raise your flags. As long as there blows a southern breeze, this flag will fly in it.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
All right, Johnny, come on up. Thank you, by the way, for that gratuitous applause.